purely as a personal, since all tastes are purely personally subjective, my favorite is the Kolkata biryani. Right? I know people don't like the potato in it, but I actually think it works very well. Biryani is not exactly a healthy dish. Okay? It's a special occasion dish that you should eat in moderation, right? I mean, it's very high fat, very high carb. It's very hard. If anything, it's actually gotten harder, right? But clearly there are some broad heuristics that individuals can learn. Asking some very obvious first principles questions. I'll give you an example, right? Somebody will say that this is toxic, right? So there's some video that said that brinjal is toxic, right? It will damage your brain on the long run. You must not eat brinjal. The first question should be, what is the toxin, right? And if people can't answer what the toxin is, then you cannot take them seriously. Right? The second question is, millions of people eat brinjal and have been eating brinjal. The Mediterranean cultures eat brinjal, have been eating brinjal for 2000s of years, and they live 20, 30 years more than Indians do, and they produce a lot of Nobel laureates. So clearly it seems to go against this basic premise itself, right? So I think it's using other examples, counter examples, asking basic next level questions, asking for details. That by itself is a good way to detect nonsense from factual information. It's always tricky with food, right? Because I think we have a culture in India where we go to someone who's a doctor or a dietitian or a nutritionist only when you have a problem. We're fundamentally not teaching enough about what is healthy eating at the school level. And even if we teach it, it's sort of lip service, right? In school, we have this thing called home science, right? Which is some few students do home science, right? Everyone is like, oh, I will do commerce, I will do IIT, I will do medical. Because home science should be mandatory for everyone, right? Everyone, by the time they graduate school, it's obvious that they need to know how to learn to cook. If they know how to cook, that solves 80% of your problems in terms of your relationship to food, because you then naturally know what is good, what is not good, and so on. Oh man, I would actually say, there's a million ways to do this. Don't think there is only one way to cook a healthy meal. I know this is going to be controversial, but you can take something as convenient as an instant noodle and turn that into a relatively healthy meal. The idea is that if you're only taking that one sort of 100 gram or 200 gram portion, if you're taking 2 instant noodles, you're eating way too much carbs, right? That amount, then you add tons of veggies, steamed veggies, and so on. Then you fry an egg and add it to that. But of course, I'm not recommending that you do that daily. Again, at the end of the day, you can also cook rice and dals and all of that in large batches and put it in the fridge. People are needlessly afraid of the fridge. In fact, by the way, older rice has more resistant starch. That's when you eat the rice the next day, it is actually a lot fewer calories and less of an effect on your blood sugar and so on. So don't be afraid to cook in large batches, make these base gravies so that you can work like a restaurant, right? Efficiently, right? Take these bits, etc., quickly put it together. Use some of these, Southeast Asian sauces like red curry paste and those kinds of things. They're all ways in which you can rapidly put together a meal filled with fresh ingredients. Right? So you don't have to overthink it. Every time you order from somewhere, remember that it has 3 times more fat, 3 times more calories than anything you cook at home. And no matter what you cook at home, with egg and some steamed vegetables, healthier than one kadai vegetable you order on your because that's going to have insane amounts of fat, right? And it's going to be deep fried. Hi, Krish Ashok, author of Masala Lab, The Science of Indian Cooking. Just sort of reading Happiest Health. In a world where there is just so much misinformation about the health and nutrition and food and science in general, it's always a pleasant surprise to come across content that is well written by formal science communicators and actual scientists, and evidence-backed and really well researched. I truly just enjoyed reading some of the articles in this, and I hope you do too.